you love salads as much as I do? Sarada ga daisuki. Rabu-rabu da zo. I love salads. And chances are, if you do too, you're in for a treat because today I'm going to be showing you two of my favorite salad dressings using one of my favorite ingredients, also known as shoyu-koji, to help you increase the umami and deliciousness of the foods that you make with it, including today's salad dressing. So stay tuned. Konnichiwa, Pat Tokiyama here, creator of the Japanese Cooking Club, as well as All Day I Eat Like a Shark, where I share my Japanese recipes, plant-based Japanese, made simple, recipe videos, cooking lessons, showing you how to cook plant-based Japanese food at home. And if you've never heard of shoyu-koji before, maybe it's because it's the little brother of shiokoji, which is salted koji, or amakouji, which is potentially the other sibling or sister of shiokoji, the sweeter version, or you can even call shoyu-koji the big mama because it's a really, really delicious condiment that might just change the way you ever taste shoyu or Japanese soy sauce again. Let me know in the comments if you've had it before, and if you haven't yet, it is simple to make and you're in luck because I've actually put together a series of videos, one to show you how to make it the slow way, which takes anywhere from 7 to 14 days, depending on how long you want to ferment your shoyu-koji, or you could do it the quicker way, the fast way, using a yogurt maker, which is what I do. The yourteya is a Japanese yogurt maker that I did a review on last year, and you're welcome to go ahead and check that out. If you're interested in making homemade yogurts, onsen tamago, amakouji, shiokoji, and shoyu-koji, as well as miso, and many other different kinds of things like cheese, and I think that's pretty much it. Actually, you can do a sourdough starter. So a lot of different things that you can make with that little thing. I did a video on it and you can check that out in the description below, as well as the fast way to make those three ingredients with koji, shiokoji, amakouji, and shoyu-koji, which is what we're going to be using in today's delicious salad dressings. And in that video, I'm going to show you how to do it fast. So fast, as in haya, not haya. Dewanai, haya. Itten janezo. I'm saying haya. Can you tell the difference? Hayai. Hayai is fast. Has a little plant-eating dinosaur inside of you awakened yet? I know mine did back in 2016. Back in 2016, if you haven't heard my story before, I was surfing one day. Surf was awesome. It was pumping. I had a great session, and it was actually just before I was going to leave on a surf trip to go to Costa Rica. But obviously, after I sprained my ankle, I wasn't able to walk for a few months and I was not able to go on that trip. So during that time, I did a bunch of reading, and one of the books that I read was the China Study, as well as the Omnivore's Dilemma and Whole, all of which got me to change my diet and become plant-based, which is what I am today, if you want to put a label on me. And so in terms of my lifestyle changes, one of the things that I did was to incorporate more plants and vegetables into my cooking and my diet. And one of the ways that I was able to do that was tofu, hence my tofu cookbook, Tofu Ryori, which if you want to check that out, that's in the description below. And also, of course, lots of salads and lots of whole grains and other plant sources of protein and inspiration. So some of the things that I have learned to harness are the natural flavors of food, one of which is fermented and also known as koji. Koji is aspergillus, and it's actually a little microbe that helps to bring out umami and all sorts of goodness in your foods naturally. And today we're using the shoyu version, the soy sauce version. Basically, it is the aspergillus inoculated rice. So the mold is on the rice. You're gonna add shoyu to it, and then the shoyu is gonna be a lot more flavorful, more rounded, more, I guess, I don't know how you'd say it. Maroyaka is like smooth and complex. It's a very subtle difference, but it tastes very different from regular shoyu, and that's what we're gonna be using for our two dressings today. So if you haven't woken up yet, time to wake up. Urusai na koitsu. Well, if you're not ready to wake up just quite yet, that's totally fine. Everybody's on their own timeline, and maybe this will help you in that direction if you are open to it, of course. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh yeah, and while you were sleeping, and I guess if you're still sleeping, these little microbes have been hard at work. Hatarakimono, hatarakimono, hatarakimono. Hard workers. Da yo ne? Desu yo ne? So growing up, I hated my vegetables. As you can imagine, most kids don't like eating their vegetables, but as I got a little bit older, I started to gradually incorporate them into my diet. And in order to be healthy, for example, whenever I went to McDonald's or Makku in Japan, I would get a salad to make myself feel a little bit more healthy ish. And if you know the nutrition facts of the salads that they serve at Maku or McDonald's, it's not really that nutritious, and especially so when you're adding on that ranch dressing or that Italian dressing. Not that healthy. Anyways, times have changed. My tastes have sort of developed, I would like to think, and sort of refined themselves slightly. My palate has been refined, and I find myself eating very different types of dressings today. So if you're looking for a delicious way to caterpillar, you know, caterpillars eat a lot of leafy greens. And by the way, that's one of my favorite little kids books, my children's books. If you had this book available to you when you were growing up, but this is one of my favorite books. Nostalgic. Natsukashi na. Natsukashi is sort of like nostalgic. So in this video, we're going to be making two different Japanese style dressings and salads. So I've got my greens here ready to go. I've also got some grains. We're going to be using some farro here. This is actually from Anson Mills, some of my favorite farro. And you can use this on all kinds of different things. You can eat it by itself. I usually put it in salads or other recipes where I want some protein and fiber. And then here we have some pearled barley, which has also been cooked. And this is another great way to add some protein and nutrition to your salads. So we're just gonna put about a half cup worth of grains for each of these. And for the dressing, we're going to be doing a shoyu-koji dressing for one of them. So this is about, was this shoyu-koji? Yeah. We're going to be using about a quarter cup of shoyu-koji here, about a tablespoon of sesame seeds, 3 tablespoons of rice vinegar, osu, and 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, gomabura. Over here, we have about 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 fat piece of umeboshi, which has been marinated or pickled in salt. And we have about 3 tablespoons of shoyu, soy sauce, about 4 tablespoons of osu, vinegar, and then about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. So in order to get the best texture out of these dressings, what I would recommend that you do is process them in a food processor so you get a very good emulsion. So for this first one, we're just going to combine all of the ingredients in here. So first, there's the sesame oil, and then we have the sesame seeds. If you want the full texture of the sesame seeds, you can leave them out and sprinkle them on top if that's what you prefer. And then the shoyu-koji. Having trouble speaking. All right, so there's the first one. So we're just gonna puree this. And then this next one is also gonna be pureed in my other immersion blender. So we'll put in the sugar here, the umeboshi, olive oil. That was 2 tablespoons. And that was supposed to be all shoyu-koji, but I ran out. So that was really only about a tablespoon of shoyu-koji plus shoyu, and then the rice vinegar. So now all we gotta do is puree these and we'll be done. Okay, so here are both of the dressings. So of course you can make them as sweet, salty, or sour as you like. As you guys know, I don't really like my things too sweet, so I don't put too much sugar or honey. But anyways, here is the first one, shoyu-koji with the gomabura and rice vinegar. Very good emulsion going right there. And then here is the umeboshi. Actually, I reversed them. So this is the gomabura with the shoyu-koji, and then the other one was the umeboshi. I was wondering why there were sesame seeds in my umeboshi dressing. And then over here, forgot to show you guys, I got some cut up avocado, cubed avocado, a few red onions, and then that have been sliced, and then a few cherry tomatoes that have been quartered. So we'll go ahead and put some of these on. Always good to get some color on your salads. Sometimes I put bell peppers or nuts. What do you guys like to put in your salad? Just put some avocado, baby avocado. Like literally. They have some good fats that'll help you stay fuller longer. So if you don't have avocados in your salads, might be worth considering adding. All right, and then we can put some red onion. All right, and then the last thing is going to be the dressing. So that's essentially it. So you think you make good dressings now, do you? Well, maybe you do. So maybe if you do have a couple tips to share, feel free to leave them in the comments below. We can always learn from each other. That's what this little community is about. And alternatively, I have a couple tips of mine to share with you as well. So one of the things that you can do to help improve the dressing consistency, the emulsification, which is the mixture of the liquid and the oil, so the water portion and then the oil portion. Usually, depending on what kind of dressing you're making, it may separate where you have the oil on top, or the oil on the bottom and then the water on top. Or if you get a very good emulsification, it'll be all mixed together and you may not even be able to tell or see the little bubbles, the emulsification of the oil and the water solution mixing. A couple things that you can do is, one is you could use a canning jar to mix everything together. Shake, 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 and make sure that everything is mixed as thoroughly as possible. Alternatively, you can also use a immersion whisk. That's another tool that you can use, or you can just use a manual whisk. Whichever you prefer, you can do that as well. Give your wrist a little workout, or you can use a immersion blender or a regular blender, as well as a food processor. So if you have not yet used any of those techniques, maybe one is worth considering a try so that you can get a better emulsification of your dressing, because who really hates it when you are left with just the oil in the dressing jar? I hate when that happens. And then the second thing that I wanted to share with you was the ingredients that you put into your recipes. Use black pepper. Black pepper is one of my favorite ingredients to use in my dressings because it packs a ton of flavor, and especially so when you're using freshly cracked peppercorns, which makes a big difference. Also, if you are using freshly crushed garlic, that's another big effect on your dressing. If you can use freshly crushed garlic, that's going to help to enhance the flavor as well. Of course, only if you like garlic. You also need to use something like salt to help to balance out some of the acidic flavors. And you also want to try to make sure that you have some sort of a herb in there if possible, or an acid. That's going to help to really brighten up the flavor. So usually vinegar is used. So you can even use a vinegar and lemon juice mixture or other type of acid. Sometimes I use lemon zest or lime zest in my dressings. In terms of getting the emulsification down, like I mentioned, another tip that you can do is use a type of mustard. So whole grain mustard will give a nice texture, alternatively Dijon mustard, without really altering the flavor too much. Just use a little bit and it does help. Shiokoji, shoyu-koji, and even amakouji if you wanted to use that as a replacement for your honey or your sugar if you like things on the sweeter side. So those are a few additional tips that you can consider next time you want a nicely emulsified dressing for your salads. And you can let me know what you think. If I left anything out, feel free to leave a comment below. Would love to hear your thoughts, and if you have anything to share, that's always welcome as well. And if you don't have anything to share, that's totally cool too. So let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you didn't enjoy it, then I guess I'm sorry, not really, but maybe you can tell me what I could do better next time. Always looking to improve things and help you guys eat more plant-based Japanese foods. So subscribe if you want to see more plant-based Japanese cooking videos like this one today. And if you would like to see another video that might be relevant to shiokoji, shoyu-koji, and amakouji, you might want to check out this playlist right here. Oh yeah, and then I guess the last couple things before we finish up here, I said that I did do a product review of the theyre yogurt machine, which is going to be in the description below, as well as the link to the video where I show you how to make amakouji, shiokoji, and shoyu-koji the fast way. And you can check all that out in the description below. And I think for the next video, if you're curious, we're going to be using genmai, which is also known as brown rice in Japanese, and we're going to be using that in a few different ways, which you may or may not have tried yet. And there's some of my favorites, and brown rice, as you may know, is super nutritious, packs a ton of flavor, protein, and fiber as compared to white rice. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in my next video. 気をつけてね. Take care. Bye bye.